Welcome everyone to another episode of the STEM Broker podcast. I'm your host, April Boyd-Noronha, known as the STEM Broker. And yes, I'm just a girl that's also a geek who loves to talk about girls in STEM. For more information about the STEM Broker podcast, upcoming girls in STEM events, and professional development training, visit our website at thestembroker.com. Now, you can also check us out online. You can follow us on Twitter as @thestembroker and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/thestembroker. So if you're on Twitter right now and have comments or questions about the show, tweet them using hashtag #TheSTEMBroker. Now, I know some of you are wondering, what or who is the STEM Broker? Well, we are a consultancy focused on increasing the level of training, engagement, and dialogue in support of all things about girls in STEM. Now, if you're tuning in every Monday night, then you already know that I have a personal investment in the success of the Girls in STEM initiative as a parent of 3 children, 2 of whom are my daughters, aspiring engineers. So briefly, let me share with you 2 ways to help keep STEM alive in the community. 1, partner with us as an advertiser. Or 2, sponsor a podcast just like today's, as little as $25 a month is what the packages start at. So to get started, visit our website, thestembroker.com, and click on the donate link, or send me an email at april@thestembroker.com. And remember, we offer training for adults as well. So are you a teacher who wants to keep STEM alive, or at least introduce STEM to your students? We got a class on how to do that. Maybe you're a recent or soon-to-be graduate about to test the STEM waters and you kind of need some career guidance. We can coach you on how to get your foot in the door. Or maybe you're an HR professional or an IT recruiter and you're responsible for not only recruiting and hiring a dynamic team, but also maintaining and retaining a diverse IT staff. Yep, we offer customized training for that too. For more information, you know where to go. Visit our website at thestembroker.com or email me at april@thestembroker.com to get started. Now, remember, we can bring the training to you. Do you know of a new startup or a socially responsible corporation that would be the coolest, perfect site to host a Girls in STEM boot camp or professional development training? Then share this podcast with them and encourage them to contact me for more details. Now, last week I shared with you my top 5 side gigs to hack into with little to no experience. But for this week's topic, I'm going to talk about a 4-step game plan for girls finding a STEM mentor. We all know that mentoring is a critical factor to getting a girl into STEM and helping them stay interested in a STEM career as well. I know it's pivotal for me. It still is. Now that I've earned my security IT degree, it's still important for me to continue to seek out mentors in STEM fields. So first and foremost, let me give a clear definition of what a mentor is. We always hear the term. We always hear that you got to have one. But according to Webster, a mentor is someone who teaches or gives help and advice to a less experienced and often younger person. They are a trusted counselor or guide, or can be a tutor or a coach. So then by default, a STEM mentor will be a professional already in the STEM industry, in the science, technology, engineering, and or math industry that offers advice to a young, aspiring STEM technologist. Now, as a parent of 3 aspiring STEM technologists, I've successfully secured STEM mentors for all 3 of my children over the past few years. Some of their mentors have been formal corporate professionals employed at leading STEM companies, while others have been informal or just friends that we knew in the STEM industry. Some of their mentoring moments have been scheduled on-site one-on-one coaching sessions, while others have been impromptu. They've been just a brief meeting, a moment at a public STEM event. So the mentoring process can vary. But once again, once you gain a clear definition of what the role of a mentor is, then you as the mentee must understand what your role is as well. Now, primarily it's to be open to be mentored. A mentee is a protege, but let me remind you that the mentee has just an equal responsibility to be active and engaged in the mentoring process as does the mentor. It's not all on the mentor. For me, the best mentors I've had over my 30-year career, I've found to be at my church. Others were friends or family friends, like of my mother. And as I got older, though, most of my mentors were established through either cold calls or emails that I sent out personally and directly to people that I viewed as my sheroes. So for the most part, each person I asked to be my mentor graciously accepted, and they have turned out to mentor not only me professionally, but on a few personal matters as well. And so also, though most of my mentors are female, I do want to point out that I've had some incredible male mentors as well. So after both roles are clearly defined, the role of the mentor and the role of the mentee, then a 4-step strategic action plan must be put in place. So step 1 is to mark your territory and make sure you're ready as the mentee and the mentor to commit to a mentoring relationship. Now, when I say, I know you're like, what? Mark your territory, but not dogs. I know. But when I say mark your territory, I mean set your sights on particular STEM professionals. You're not just going to wing it and just ask any STEM person, professional that's out there. You want to narrow the search. So if you're interested in a STEM career in, let's say, science, well, you want to focus on securing a mentor in the science field. If you're seeking a career in technology, then set your sights on finding a mentor in the tech industry, and so on and so forth for engineering and math. And once you've found an interesting STEM professional, read their bio, learn about their accomplishments. When you're looking at it, does it look like something you'd like to accomplish? Do they work at a cool company that you'd like to work at or intern at? And now that you've compiled your list, equally important is making sure that you have the time to commit to a mentoring partnership. Now, mentoring is mostly about communication and building a mutually meaningful relationship between the mentor and the mentee. But now with modern technology, communication can be done remotely, virtually, or via a FaceTime chat through Skype or Google or through your iPhone. So it's not really hard. It just has to be strategic. Now, step 2 is part of the 4-step strategic plan on how to find a STEM mentor is to engage. Now, the definition for engage is to deal with, especially at length. So yes, this is where the rubber hits the road and it's on both sides, once again, for the mentor and the mentee. Now, as the mentee, when you reach out to the potential mentor, make sure you are clear about your intentions as well as your expectations for the mentoring relationship. So tell your potential mentor why you think she'd be a great fit as your mentor. Now, be sincere in your plea. It must be more than, I want to work at the same company as you do one day. It has to, it cannot be all fluff. You got to have some substance there. But tell the why behind your request for her being a mentor. Explain your goals and aspirations as a future STEM technologist. Most importantly, tell why you feel they are the chosen one. You know what I mean? Perhaps they were born in the same town or city that you were. Maybe they have the same interests or hobbies as you, etc. Pursue, consider the options. Because they can be very varied. And if you don't know them, the potential mentor, specifically or personally, then all this information can be found or learned from reading their bio. And, you got to remember, once you hit the send button, you've done all that you needed to do. You're starting the engagement process. Once you hit the send button and send off the request, now you must wait for a reply. And I want to challenge each and every one of you future STEM technologists that don't worry, you will get a reply. I can honestly say that out of all of my mentor requests, I cannot recall any being denied. However, some replies stated that they didn't have time, but heck, that's understandable. And with all the replies, I can just think of a couple, less than on one hand. They explained why. They were gracious and honored that I asked, and they still at least gave me some initial feedback, or at least encouragement. So all was not lost, even though they were not the one. So the key factor at this moment is patience. The way that the saying, patience is a virtue. But believe me, it will pay off. Now, step 3 of the 4 ways, the game plan to find a STEM mentor, is to network. Now, with a possible mentor in sight, because you've done step 1, marked your territory, you've got your list ready, and you've made the commitment already to be committed in the mentoring relationship. Step 2, you're starting to engage, you're sending out that request. Step 3 is to network. With a possible mentor in sight, you've coupled with a strategic plan of engagement and play, which is steps 1 and 2. Now it's time to take your networking skills to the next level. Now, don't worry if you haven't mastered this particular skill yet. Most likely you haven't. And quite frankly, many adults still struggle in this area. So honestly, as a girl, your initial entry to networking will probably be a simple meet and greet with professionals at STEM events. And in the case of an actual mentoring moment, once your potential mentor has replied, the networking is further experienced as a one-on-one scheduled meeting. Now, on a personal note, when I've scheduled such events for my daughters, the initial meeting was at the mentor's workplace. And once we arrived, because of course I chaperoned the initial meeting, but once we arrived, we were given a tour of the business site. But even more exciting was to be able to sit in their office and actually feel the STEM. You know what I'm saying? To actually feel the STEM. You're in the environment. And, to get a true feeling of how a STEM environment could be when they begin their very own STEM career. That's priceless. You cannot that's an experience that they will remember. My daughters will remember for the rest of their lives. And step 4 of the 4 ways to find a STEM mentor, especially for girls starting out or starting to pursue a STEM career, is to take notes, turn up, and take it to the next level.